fashion is definitely something that, is it fair to say, is a love of yours?
It's not just a case of putting an outfit on after ostomy surgery and being like, yes, I rock this, I love how I look. At the end of the day, my stoma saved my life by literally 2 hours. So rock it. That the person who notices your bag the most is you.
Yes.
You know it's there. I mean, we know where to look because we've got stoma bags, but the average person walking down the street is not going to be looking. There's no rule book that everybody has to follow. Listen to your body and know that you aren't alone. Even people without stomas, talk to them. People who love you are going to encourage that. And I've always said to people, the people who matter to you don't mind, and the people who mind don't matter.
Hello, Anthony.
Hello. Oh my God.
Hello.
Exciting.
So there's a new era for Beyond the Pouch, and we've got a new background. We've got our ambassador family. We've got loads of lovely photos, and more importantly, I've got a new co-host.
Thank you so much for having me. Season 3. Here we go.
Yes, we are pumped, as you can see. And our first guest, how would you describe this human?
She is one of the real OGs. I started following her even before I had a bag. She's really empowering, massively into fashion, into fitness, and she's just such an all-round wonderful human being.
She is lush. And we have connected with her lots outside of the gram, and we can say she is as beautiful inside as she is out.
100%.
And if you hadn't guessed it already, it is Amy.
IBD Warrior Princess.
Woo!
Let's get you
Here
in.
we go. Right, guys, she is here. We're starting the season off strong. It's Amy!
Thank you.
So, everyone knows who you are. If they don't, they're living under a rock.
100%.
Okay.
So buzzed to have you here. We're going to start with some quick fire questions. Something new.
Cool. Yep.
Something new. Over to Ant.
Right. A couple of these will be really quick. Biggest myth about stomas you want to bust?
That only old people have stomas.
Love that. Good. Most empowering moment since you've had a stoma?
Oh, I'd say when I could look in the mirror when I started back at the gym again and thought, I'm really happy with what I see. I think that was great.
Love that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then how do you describe your relationship with your body right now?
Progress over perfection, I'd say, definitely.
Strong. Love that. And then a song quote that always lifts your mood.
I mean, it's kind of cliche at this point, but I always say I'm Amy with the stoma bag, not Amy the stoma bag girl. There's quite a difference if you think about it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Amazing. Right, let's get into it.
So, you have been doing this for how long? Tell everyone.
It'll be my 6th year this year that I'm doing my Instagram and online community, but I've had my stoma for 15 years in August.
15?
So, yeah.
Incredible.
15.
And you are still, in my eyes, so young, yet you have lived a lifetime without your
100%.
stoma.
Absolutely.
And with your stoma.
Yeah.
So let's start off with your diagnosis and how you got to where you are now.
Yep, so I was officially diagnosed with Crohn's when I was 7 years old. Yeah. But looking back, I think I had symptoms since I was probably about 2 or 3. I mean, my mum thinks I had symptoms since being a baby. I'd have runny nappies, then I'd go the other way, get a lot of colic. I was diagnosed with malnutrition quite a few times. And at the time when I was diagnosed, when I was 7, I was the 3rd youngest in the UK with it. Wow, so really? I was kind of for want of a better term, quite the guinea pig because nobody knew what to do with it. So yeah.
Wow. And random question, how would your parents describe that moment now? Have you ever talked about that with your parents, about how they found it all? Yeah,
so my mum actually wrote a letter for me to get her feelings down, which made me cry and made her cry writing it. And I shared it online actually. It was, it received a lot of love and a lot of parents saying that they'd felt the same. But my mum's side of the family has had a history of bowel problems. Okay. So we've had stomach cancer, bowel cancer. My uncle, bless his heart, is in heaven. He had ulcerative colitis. So my mum merely asked the doctor, the GP, she said, could it be IBD? And that's when I had the tests when I was 7.
And if she hadn't have had that thought and asked, who knows when you would have been diagnosed? Because there's so many children out there suffering, and it's, it's just something they ate, or it's their diet. Do a food plan. Stop the milk for a bit.
Yeah.
You get fobbed off really easily, unfortunately. But I think my mum and my dad would describe it as kind of mixed feelings. I think it was good to finally think, we've got a diagnosis, we can treat it, hopefully. But at the same time, because of the problems in the family, my mum was almost looking at it like, I know what's coming.
Oh, God, yeah. Which is just, Oh, God, can relate to that so much.
So you're growing up, like, from 7 to now, like, you've had to get used to your new body, or even your body just growing naturally, like most people do. But one thing that, like, part of this we do today is being a bit about fashion and about, like, body confidence, those sorts of things. Like, what's been some of, like, the challenges with you, like, growing up and, like, finding the right fit, if you will, for you and your stoma?
I think the biggest challenge for me is because I was so poorly before I got my stoma, like I didn't have a chance to find out who I was. Yes. So teenage years, when you're working out who you are, I've kind of got to think about my gut before I think about everything else. Rushing to the toilet, you don't have time to become the person you want to be and trial and experiment. So I think for me, learning myself has only happened in the past probably 4 or 5 years. Having the confidence to go out there and try all the things you want, not just clothes, I'm talking everything.
So I want to dig into that. What's been like that confidence change in those last 4 or 5 years? Because there's going to be so many people listening and watching being like, I don't feel confident. Like, what have you started to get to with that?
I think a lot of it for me has been focusing on the things outside of my bag and my scars. So it's like I said at the beginning, you know, I'm Amy with the stoma bag. So it's actually, yes, I have this ostomy, but I'm all these things outside it. I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a wife. So I think it's just really been honing in on those things and kind of like changing your mindset. So I'm not saying you have to get to a point where you don't think about your ostomy, because you do. It's part of you. It's like, I mean, it's a bit bigger than that, but it's like brushing your teeth, you know, it becomes part of your routine.
It does, especially for as long as you've had yours as well. I mean, at the start, it can feel like it's all consuming and you're drowning. And then it's almost like, I suppose it's like you're coming up for air when you find that turning point. And it's quite hard to describe that to people who are new to it because they can't see it. They can't see how that could ever be possible. But it is for most people. You get there.
Yeah, I think what was different for me in a way that was because I hadn't really lived, I like to say, before I had my ostomy, I almost was like, bring it on.
Yes.
Give me that ostomy. Like, not many people can say that. I just got to the point where I was so miserable, just surviving, literally hadn't eaten at one point for 12 weeks, couldn't look at food, smell food without feeling sick, rushing to the toilet. I remember being sat on the toilet, like, just being in so much agony, and I was just thinking, this just needs to be done. Like, just do whatever you need to do, take it away from me. So when I woke up with a bag, I was almost on a high, as weird as it sounds, because I'm like, yes, like, this pain I'm feeling is post-operative, but it's going to be temporary. It's a different pain. So, I was just like, bring it on.
Totally to rate. Yeah, like, I was about to say, totally relate to that. Was like elected and was like, oh my God, there's this thing. But like, I wanted it. And I think like that, I think that's quite, to your point, very key. Like, that's your mindset change. Is I'm out of agony. 2020, just before COVID, February the 13th.
Oh, because I had mine June 2020. Because I remember when I first, because I was already did my Instagram and I was doing it from a parent's perspective because my children, my one child then had a stoma. And then I remember when I was having surgery and I was like, oh, okay, I want to start exploring that. And I remember finding you. You were one of the first that I came across. You both were.
Yeah, you were 100% one of them.
Yeah, you were the new one. One of the newbies at the time. You'd had you did your introduction post like we all do. We all, hi, I'm here. I've had my surgery. Hopefully life's better now. But when you type it in, you are one of the first people that come up. You are.
Seriously?
And it's... you are.
That's interesting.
It's not just because your name's Amy and alphabetically it's at the top.
Honestly, But you are one of the first people. And I've definitely noticed a change in your content.
Yeah.
From when I first found you to now. And I think, but you went through a phase of I think what I get from your content was you were always trying to give people help and you're always trying to educate. I think it's fair to say.
Oh, definitely.
Which was always backed up by your own research. It wasn't just, picking this idea out of the sky and throwing it out there. But yeah, but fashion is definitely something that, is it fair to say, is a love of yours?
Oh yeah,
and
very fashionable.
Definitely.
He's very
Great
fashion
outfit today.
heavy.
Loving the outfit today.
Yeah. And what would you say to people that I think you said something in your post this week about that you don't worry about your bag that controls what you wear, but you have to consider it.
Yeah, you definitely have to consider it. Like, I think maybe in the early days, like you say, with my content, I was very keen to be that empowering person, to be, I have this stoma, but it doesn't stop me. It's not the end. Yeah. That is true. But over the years, I've kind of always tried to be authentic and be real, because people need to know that there are days where I look in the mirror with an outfit and I'm like, well, that's not working. Yeah. And that's not because I'm ashamed or I'm embarrassed. That is just because I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah. Can I ask you that then? What tips would you give people then? Like, they've not straight out of surgery, but getting used to fashion, finding their fit and things like that. What hints and tips would you give some people?
I think comfort has to be key.
So like baggy clothes or things like that, or?
I think it depends on the individual, doesn't it?
Massively,
and I think it depends on whether you've had open surgery or whether you've had keyhole, because obviously for a lot of people your abdomen can be really tender. I mean, I've got 6-7 inch scar.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've got quite a good
for
scar,
me, that was quite hard. Yeah. But I'd always kind of got it into my mind early days that I was going to use Stoma support wear.
Yep.
I'd bought it before I even had the surgery.
It's not cheap.
No, it's not.
It's not cheap. No, it's not cheap. And my mum had been doing some research, bless her. She knew like what was coming, and she found a few different support wear brands and things, so she ordered some for me. And from the day after my surgery, I started wearing the waistbands.
Nice.
Even when I was in hospital, just to get the feel for things. Yeah. And actually, I realised how flat it kind of helps make things. Yeah, so I've always been a bit paranoid, shall we say, about the bag bulge, as I call it. So like today, I'm wearing jeans which are quite tight fitted, but my Stoma support wear underneath that gives me the confidence to wear those.
So can I ask, what support wear have you got on? Is it in the pants itself? Is it a separate band?
I've got the briefs. I've actually got the briefs from Celostomy, they're called. So I'm wearing those. They're very pretty. Some of them, obviously, as you know, they can be quite medical looking. And,
there's a big range.
There's a big range. But I needed something that I was going to feel good in.
Yeah,
so I thought, they're my confidence pants. Big girl knickers, get them on today.
Yes.
I think, Joe, that's really key, is actually, like, a lot of people may not be aware that there's other brands of like support wear out there, but that are like tailored to like look good and feel good. Because I wear like support belts, but like, I'm going to be really, really kind. The male ones look like I've got long johns on. If I wear them up to literally up to here, and I'm like, I'm not wearing these. They look ridiculous.
I think as a woman, it's probably easier aesthetically to probably accept wearing stuff like that than as a male. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, I mean, I look like, if I put them on, I've got some tight ones as well, like briefs, and I was like, I look like I'm going swimming in the 1930s.
Yeah.
This is I'm not wearing those.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing them at all. Speaking of swimwear, that's a good segue. I love that.
Good segue.
Oh, that was perfect.
Here we go. Here for 3 seasons.
Speaking about swimwear and also like other bits, like when you're going on holiday, outfits, bikinis, what do you wear? And well, I'll start with that, and then I want to know, like, did you have to build up courage to like put a bikini on, or was it always like, swimming costume?
Like you're predicting what I was going to say.
Well, I'm trying to do well here.
So I started wearing swimsuits. Because I just thought, there's no way I can go out there and have people staring at me. That's what I thought. I was like, everyone's going to stare.
99.9% of people probably would.
100%.
Yeah.
And at some points, I would also wear a Stoma waistband under my swimsuit.
Yeah.
Because not many people realise that you can wear them. I mean, they're not waterproof.
Yeah.
But you can wear them and wash them afterwards to get rid of the chlorine and stuff. So I started with the swimsuits. And then I think it got to the point where my husband, booked a little spa break. Hello, Ben.
Look at your white shine. Look at your white shine, Ben.
Yeah, so he booked us a spa break, and I just thought, you know what? There was just a turning point in my head, and I thought, he's with me. We're going to be fine. I'm going to wear a bikini.
No.
And he said to me, you're going straight in. You're wearing a bikini. You're going high waist or whatever. I said, no, I'm not going high waist. I hate how I look in a high waist bikini. It makes me look small and potato-like, so we're not going there. So I just wore like a normal bikini, and weirdly, like going out into the spa to get that confidence was like, you always had to take a deep breath. I'm going out there, and I could see people sitting in the sauna and walking around and stuff, and I was like, they're going to stare any minute, and I'm going to like get dirty looks and that.
No one does.
No, like people look human curiosity.
Yeah.
Of course they do. Just like if you see somebody in a nice outfit, bright colours, you know, you look and you think, oh, it doesn't mean you're thinking something bad. But yeah, since then, I've pretty much worn bikinis and I just feel it's so empowering.
Yeah,
you know, like
100%.
At the end of the day, my stoma saved my life by literally 2 hours.
Well, yeah.
So, rock it.
And it's like a bag of honour rather than a badge of honour, I suppose.
Bag of honour. I
God,
love that.
look at it.
All these
Using
puns.
that one going
But like,
forward.
I think this is a real key thing because I'm sure you do, and I'm sure you will as well. As people will be like, oh, I'm really worried about, showing my bag. Yeah. Like even on I feel like
says the 3 people that show it regularly on
constantly.
Instagram.
I think there's a photo over there with me on it, but it's more the point of like spotlight syndrome.
Yes.
Everyone's going to look at me. They're always going to look at me.
Right.
99 times out of 100, people will look at you and go, oh, I'm going to go back to my book or back to my tanning. More people are concerned about their tan rather than your bag.
I think it's very easy as well, though, to presume that people that are getting their bag out online are the same in their real life.
Oh, yeah.
Because let's discuss.
Yes, because when you're, I was going to say at your computer. No, that's showing my age. When you're on your phone.
Just get the laptop out and try for one.
Wait for it to dial in.
Keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
The mode's powering up.
Here it goes.
I know.
You have mail.
Yeah. Oh, I love that film. It's my favourite film. That's not relevant. That's going to be edited out. Sorry, but it is. I love that film. Anyway, but yeah, so when you're on your phone and you're sharing your pictures, I don't know about you two, but for me, my account and what I've built feels like a safe space.
100%.
Yes.
And I curate who I follow and who I accept to what I know serves me and keeps my peace, protects my peace.
Amen.
So, but then I wouldn't go round the street outside my house with my bag out. I wouldn't be comfortable with that. Yeah. But the reason why I share online is because I want to give people confidence to see how it feels. And, there's loads of topics I cover and all that. And let's face it, your perspective is different to mine, different to yours. We're all at different walks of life and stages.
I'm not going to get bag out, walk out by my house.
I would not be surprised, to be honest, if you
people
did.
would do that, to be honest.
I'm going for a run, guys.
Yeah. But also, I think it's really important that if you are scrolling through and you're new to this, and you see people with their bags out because they want to show people that they're not alone, because they want to educate, it doesn't mean we're going round in our normal lives with our bags out. And we all have our own insecurities. We all do. We discussed it when we had breakfast this morning. Yeah. We discussed it yesterday.
And weirdly, those insecurities weren't the bag.
No.
Yeah.
Were they? They were everything else.
Yeah.
And I think that brings us back to like an earlier point that the person who notices your bag the most is you.
Yes.
You know it's there. Yeah. I mean, we know where to look because we've got Stoma bags, but the average person walking down the street is not going to be looking for it.
But also, I think, little quick story. So my son's got a Stoma, he's nearly 10, and he wears waistbands and trunks. So this, again, goes to the male thing. Yeah. As a boy, you can't really hide the fact you've got support wear and all that, unless you have a top on, which he's too old for that now. And there is one mum every week when we walk down to the pool that stares at my child. And every week I think, he's got a waistband on. You know there's something there. And I think this is a lesson to be learnt, that people also need to, all right, you're going to look, it's different, but you don't need to keep looking. No. And if ever my son picked up the vibes of that, I would be mortified and I would go into mama bear and protective mode. But the reason why we do what we do is because the more we show it, the more normalised it is, and the more those people, and there are some out there, we can't pretend there aren't people that might stay in a negative way, that actually it's normal and there's no need to.
Yeah. No, that's completely true.
With that, like, lots of things that you'll see as well, like negative stuff, like intrusively people worry about stuff after like the first surgery and like constant surgery, things like that. Like, how did you overcome that body confidence? Because I don't have a big scar. My surgery was all done keyhole, so I have very small little scars. Yeah. And I can imagine, like, as a young woman growing up, having a big scar could impact your confidence quite a lot. Yeah. So how did you navigate that?
For me, because the way I viewed my body before surgery was negatively anyway. I mean, I remember I was 5.5 stone after my surgery.
5.5 stone?
5.5 stone, yeah. I think the worst...
You share photos in comparison, and they are shocking, the photos. That the before and after of, it's incredible, the difference.
It's a lot. Even, I know I went through it, and it's still a lot when you don't look at those photos for a while, and then you see them. But going back to your point about the scar down my tummy, I was used to having a very swollen tummy before my surgery. Okay. So for me anyway, my tummy's never been a place where I look and I'm like, that's great, like what I see. Yeah. But after my surgery, I almost just, like I say, I was willing to have the bag, that I thought this scar is just part of what has saved me. My surgeon said that literally it saved my life by a few hours. I was touch and go on the table. I lost a lot of blood. I remember my surgery was meant to take about 5 hours. I was still in there 9.5 hours. My mum and dad thought I'd died.
I can't even imagine how they felt.
I just remember the day after him saying, you nearly weren't here. Like, if your dad hadn't brought you in when he had, you wouldn't be here talking to us. And it was from that moment something just changes in your head. You're like, right, I've got this scar down my tummy, but actually I've still got my belly button, which is quite a rarity. I have quite a lot of people say to me, why have you still got your belly button? And I remember my surgeon saying to me at the time, because I was young and you heal quite well, he did it in a more difficult area, so like the rectus abdominis muscle, it's called. He cut
I'm going to say,
down that. And I was like, yes, I've got my belly button. Like, I was made up that I got my belly button. I've still got it. So from day one, I was like, this scar is like a bag of honour, like you say.
And isn't it amazing? Because I had my colon removed and surgery at a week old, and open surgery. So I've got the long scar down, but for my parents, when I had it, it was tiny, and now at the age of 36, it's hello.
Grows with your body.
And isn't it incredible how you grow with it? And it just, I mean, I've never known, like, I can't remember at 2 days old looking down and going, ooh, no scar, hey.
You're probably like this going, goo goo gaga.
Yeah. So, like, I can't remember a time where I didn't have my tummy cut open and all that jazz. But I found, I mean, I've gained weight and fluctuated. I've had 2 kids. And I think some people that have that scar, and when putting clothes on and trying to figure out what's comfortable, when you've got that extra scar, it changes everything, especially if you haven't got a flat tummy, which a lot of people don't. And I think that makes it harder to know what to wear. So what advice would you give people that they want to feel good in their clothes, but they're not feeling quite comfortable in their skin? Like, are there any go-to outfits as a woman that you would say, what, this would be a great way of feeling good, but still knowing that you're still getting there?
I think, obviously you've got to figure out what feels like you. That can take a while. For me, it took years. It's not just a case of putting an outfit on after ostomy surgery and being like, yes, I rock this, I love how I look. Like, it wasn't for me, and I don't think it is for many people. But I've always sworn by, like, on the days where it's rough, a good pair of high-waisted black leggings.
Yes.
And, like, a long T-shirt. If you want to cinch it in a bit, a belt. Or, if you want something more tight fit, wear a vest, but layer a shirt underneath.
These are great tips. I need to write these down.
Write them down.
Get some layering going on.
Yeah, so definitely. And I think I've always sworn by patterns.
Okay.
So, black is my safe colour. I'm a rock girly. I'm an elder emo. I'm an elder emo, so I'm always into, like, my checkerboard and my bold prints and black and things. But mix it up. Wear, like, a real jazzy shirt if you want to, or a jazzy dress, or even something like a scarf. Like a patterned scarf.
And dopamine dressing is what it's about right now.
Yes.
Dopamine dressing. So, like, 5 years ago, I never would have worn pink dungarees. Now I'd be like, get me 2 pairs. You know what I mean? Like, it's about looking at yourself in the mirror and going, oh, this feels good.
It feels me.
Yeah.
It's so true, because the amount of times that you'll put on an outfit and you'll be like, I just feel so good. I feel great today.
Yeah,
like, let's go change the world.
It changes your whole day.
And I think that's key, like, is that even though you have, like, stoma surgery, it doesn't mean you can't wear the good outfits. You can't feel good about yourself.
Yeah, like, can I ask you, Ant, like, from a guy's perspective, what would your go-to outfit be?
Oh, great question.
Mr. Model.
Oh, stop it. I'll buy you guys a drink later. It's fine. No, to be honest, at the moment, it's more, I really like high-waisted jeans at the moment, like big baggy fits around them.
What? I didn't know they were high-waisted jeans for men?
Me neither.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, these are high-waisted.
What, like mainstream style? Oh,
Yeah. This will be a bit relevant. Like, I don't know if you guys have been watching The Traitors, but Stephen, who was on that, he's got lots of 70s high-waisted jeans. They're all coming back into fashion.
His jumpsuits.
I won't be wearing that. That's too much. It looks spectacular, but I don't think I could do that. Yeah. But yeah, for me, it's just like I will wear high-waisted trousers or something along those lines. Because again, my concern when I dress is like the bag bulge.
Yes.
Only because when your bag fills up, your bag's going to fill up. And it's kind of like, I know it will just sort of stick out a bit. So if I have like trousers that go over it, that will help. And then to be honest, like anything off top wise is great. I'd love like suits. I rarely wear them, but I love wearing suits, shirts.
You love
trousers.
wearing a suit?
Yeah, because I rarely get to do it. So I'm like, all right, now I'm like, suit up, let's go. Yeah. But yeah, even like the outfits that I've got there, like they're just like simple layers, simple things.
Can I ask you both? So you've both had a wedding. You're both married. I'm recently engaged.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Thank you. Now, for me, already I'm thinking I need to buy 2 dresses in case something happens. I'm not going to be right, But in my head, I feel like, oh my God, should I?
Outfit changes, though, are trending.
Yes, they are trending.
Midway through the night.
They are, but so let's, go to Amy first. So when you were picking your wedding dress, what were you going through? What was the process?
I think, like you, I did worry about leaks. I thought, goodness, if I'm wearing a white dress. I mean, I was tempted to have a black dress, being the person that I am, but
that would have been really you.
I mean, we have said, like, me and Ben, when we've been married 10 years, we're going to renew our vows and we're going to have very, like, black, rock chic, emo.
Would you dye your wedding dress black and do it that way around, or just go and buy a new one? Because I've heard people do that quite a lot.
That's such a good idea. But
you only wear it once, right?
Exactly. Yeah, so I was worried about leaks, but I just knew, like, from day dot that, sorry, Ben, I'm going to wear support wear on my wedding day. That's what I feel comfortable in. Yeah. And I just knew that when I was going to try on wedding dresses that I was just going to tell the people there that I had a stoma and I was worried about it.
So you told the people at the dress shop?
I told the people, right. But I always said, I didn't say stoma bag or ileostomy bag, I always said colostomy bag, because there's been a few times where I've said ileostomy bag or stoma bag and people look at you like,
do they?
What is that?
Yeah.
But then obviously everybody, like, I went to 3 places to try on dresses and they were all so lovely, and obviously you're stood there in your support wear and nothing else when they're helping you get into these, like, big dresses.
Quite exposed, aren't you?
Exposing, but I did feel comfortable after, the initial few minutes. Yeah. But yeah, like, I tried on 8 dresses, I think.
Oh God!
And it was the 7th or 8th dress that I put on, and I showed my mum. She burst out crying in a good way.
That's what you want.
In a good way,
And I looked in the mirror and I was like, yes, like completely the opposite to what I'd had in my head that I wanted. But it was amazing. Like, it was quite tight up the top, which I love an outfit like that. Tight up the top, then a bit of fleur down the bottom. So I thought, right, I need something that's not going to be like a heavy train or anything like that, because I need to get to the toilet to empty my bag.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Exactly. So I signed my mum as chief bag checker when I went to the toilet. So she was...
That's a cool title.
I actually sat on the toilet backwards because I found it easier. And she would literally, like, help lift up the skirt for me while I emptied my bag. And it was just...
Because, because when you're emptying your bag, if you're in a rush and you point down straight into the water, let's not lie,
Never do that. No. I don't know how you guys do that, because that is, I kneel down every time. Like, just constant kneeling down. I'm so worried it's going to in my face. I'm so worried about it.
Toilet roll down first.
No. Just...
So when you're in a public loo, do you kneel down on the floor?
Yeah.
But
to your point, that's where the toilet roll goes on the floor.
Oh, okay.
So I kneel on like a knee guard, and I'm like, right, cool, there you go.
Guard.
I mean, gents' toilets are not the best. Let's be honest.
I know.
So, we won't go into this.
No, you can talk about that in your men's specials. I don't want to murky this beautiful experience.
Don't. We were on wedding dresses. Let's get back out of the toilet and back to wedding dresses.
But yeah, so obviously, it goes without saying, if you've got the right bag for you and all that, you shouldn't have a leak. But the thing I'm worried about is, when I don't think about my bag. Luckily, I only think about it if I know it. I can feel it needs emptying. But because I get so distracted, and I know in the day I'm going to be like buzzing and totally distracted more than I've been before.
Yeah.
If it fills up too much, that weakens it and that can create leaks. And I think that is what I am worried about the most. So what I was thinking, maybe just checking in every couple of hours, making a point of it.
Yeah. So throughout my wedding day, I actually had I put like a little kit in a tote bag. So like spare bags, good the tip. Things that I'd need to help me feel good, emergency snacks, things like that. And I left it with my mum. Again,
this
mum is
glorious
just amazing. She's a powerhouse.
What's mum's name?
Absolutely love her. Karen.
Karen, shout out to Karen.
Chief bag checker.
Yes,
Karen,
Karen.
So she was there, obviously, just running around after me on my wedding day. Like I didn't even need to prompt her. She'd come up and she'd be like, "Have you checked back?" Do you need to go to the toilet? If I was with people, do you want to go to the toilet? That sort of thing. But again, you say worrying about leaks. The Stoma support wear for me helped that because I thought there's another layer to absorb the leak if I do leak.
Yes.
So obviously in my emergency kit, spare Stoma knickers, probably like 3 or 4 pairs. Worst case scenario in my head, as I usually do. But preparation, absolutely key. Yeah. Spare bag, spare kit. Key.
Yeah, I was a bridesmaid for my cousin back last summer, and my bag leaked.
Yes,
and we had champagne-coloured dresses, very gorgeous, very expensive.
Stunning.
And again, I was just concentrating on the kids, and I'd eaten and drunk the main meal, and I hadn't emptied when I should have, and it happened. And I was dying inside. I was mortified.
Yeah.
But then I was quickly telling myself, you know what, I haven't got another dress. I can't actually do anything about this. And no one's looking at me.
Yeah. No, they're not.
I shouldn't be bothered. And if I'm not bothered, no one else will be. And at the photos, you could see it in the photos. So I just went up to the photographer and I said, look, I've got a stoma. It's leaked. Idea. Can I just see what it looks like? And she said, oh, yeah, you can see something. And she said, don't worry, I'll just edit it.
Yeah, 100%.
So, I think you can predict the worst things and you can have fail-safes, but also it's not going to ruin your day.
And to your average person, they're probably thinking you spilt drink on yourself
or
food on yourself.
Yeah.
But
I just blame the kids.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd maybe on your wedding day, maybe assign somebody every few hours to just come and ask. Just say, do you need to go to the toilet?
Because also you're going to be, I'm sure we were the same, you're just going to be running around seeing people, then you're off to do your photos. You need someone to be
what I'm worried about.
Okay?
You do. So come on, for the group.
Well, when I had my wedding dress on, no, I didn't. You can do if you want.
Did you try Jessica's dress on?
Absolutely not. No, it's tiny. I ain't getting in that. It'll come up to here, wouldn't it?
Curiosity didn't get the better
no,
of
it did not. No. But to be honest, I will constantly just sort of tap my around it anyway. I'll check myself.
Okay. Yeah.
So I didn't nominate any chief bag checkers, but I was just taking myself off to the toilet anyway, and then to the bar.
Yeah.
So I kind of segued it a lot that way. People are like, do you want a drink? And yes, please. Just need to go to the toilet.
So you wore support wear?
Yeah, but I always do. I always wear that. And then high-waisted trousers helped as well because I had nice tweed ones, and I was like, it's perfect. It's more the end of the night when you've had a lot of fun, a lot of food, a lot of free-flowing drinks, and then you're
Did you both drink?
I got smashed.
Right.
I loved it.
How does that
so
affect
much fun.
Your awareness of your bag?
I'm not, to be honest, it's just more, you know when things are filling up, regardless.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm just a bit got smashed at my wedding, but I did.
Well,
doesn't matter.
It's a good excuse,
exactly.
Isn't it? It's a good excuse.
And you paid a lot for that day, so
exactly. Enjoy
lots of amazing champagne. I don't drink champagne, but it was I have champagne. Sure, why not?
Oh yeah.
See,
but it was that sort of just you enjoy yourself, and I think then even if the worst case scenario happens, the big part of the day is done, and everyone knows you, and you're supported around people who love you. They are not going to care. They're not going to care at all.
Yeah,
magical.
Do you know what I mean? Or what is very popular, and again, depending on budgets, is some people would do the evening outfit changes. So they take the big formal dress off and then put another small white dress on. I've seen that.
Yeah.
Men will get changed into a different suit. I mean, that's Instagram for you. I was not going to do that.
I can't.
It went through in my head.
You see,
honest.
I changed into Converse.
That
was my change, and I had a little basket of flip flops for everybody, so everybody could just dance real comfortably and stuff. So
you got married in the summer.
I did. Hottest day of the year it was.
How did you keep cool? Oh, how did your bag feel under your dress on the hottest day of the year?
Fine.
Oh,
yeah.
Do you not I mean, I'm different. I'll sweat. So when it gets so hot, I'll have to sometimes I'll do some flange extenders just to keep it, just in case. Yeah. That's mainly more hot countries and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, it's probably different for everybody, but again, the Stoma support wear, it helps that bag just stay secure, stay in place and stick to my tummy. So whether it was sticky from the sweat and the hot weather or not, or the support wear or a bit of both.
See, I've read some people who find it helps the bag adhere to the skin better, but then I've seen people that say it makes it unstick. So it's like,
it's
honestly,
different,
it's different for everyone,
it
isn't
is
it?
trial and error.
Yeah, definitely.
100%. So you talked quite a lot about support wear with like wedding dresses and bits and pieces. But one thing you're really, I say really getting into, you've always been quite into fitness and being active and stuff, like gym wear with your bag.
Yeah.
Talk us through it. How did you get into that? Like find the right products for you in terms of active wear?
So I think for me, I've always liked tight fitting clothes, not like bodycon, but snug.
Yeah.
And for me, like, you'll know, and you work hard for that figure, for what you get in the gym. You work very, very hard, don't you? And I just knew that I wanted to wear an outfit that made me feel good when I go and work out. So it was just very much, I think sports leggings could actually work in my favour because I get high-waisted. Again, I wear a level up on support wear when I go to the gym, so that helps contain things more.
What's the level up bit then? Because a lot of people may not know what this is.
So level 1, light support, I wear every day, just for everyday life. And then level 2, that's usually medium support. So that's things where you're like lifting weights at the gym, being a bit more active, that sort of thing. And then there's your level 3, which is firm support. So that's for people who have like hernias and things like that. And if you're really into your heavy lifting at the gym, that sort of thing to help protect your abdomen.
If you're doing like, big heavy squat, powerlifting, put your level 3s on, running around outside.
Which I've never done. I can't say I'm a heavy lifter.
Can I ask, there's a lot of, compared to say 5 years ago, there's a lot of different belts, waistbands, support wear. How, where do people start when they're, because I'd imagine it's very overwhelming for new people.
I would personally say ask your Stoma nurse.
Yes.
Because I don't know if a lot of people will be aware, but you can get some support wear on prescription in certain places. Obviously, a lot of it depends on where you are and what the medical board near you allows and things. But ask your Stoma nurse. Luckily, I obviously had my mum who had done all the research for me, but, some people aren't lucky to have their mums or other family members. So, definitely ask your Stoma nurse and they'll be able to help. I think with that
as well, like, because I've had a couple of like Stoma support wears and things. There are brands that will come and fit you.
Yes.
Loads of people will just buy it online and like, that may work, but every body quite literally is different. And where your bag sits, like some people have like quite prescribed hernia knees. So go and get it measured. And that's usually free. Usually free. They turn up. And then they measure you. Here's your thing. They go get away, like all ordered, comes back to you. Then you're all fitted. That's properly suited for you then.
I think though as well, it might, people who have just had surgery and they're safe to start looking into that, they might not want someone to come and fit them.
I was that person. True. I was that person.
But I would say as well, I think the main message I'd want to put out there is you don't want to spend a lot of money.
No.
Yeah, if you get it free on prescription.
Yes.
I mean, for me, I can't get that on prescription where I live.
Okay.
So I would have to buy them.
Code lottery, isn't it?
Yeah. And then they've got them on Amazon now for not a lot of money. Yeah. There are independent companies out there that have them, but please, if you're listening and watching, please don't think you need to spend the world on these, because you don't. And
absolutely,
I think people don't really talk about the financial implications of having surgery, loss of earnings if you've got to take time off work, the impact it has on your nearest and dearest.
Completely.
There's, you might need to suddenly buy clothes that are different sizes.
Whole new wardrobe.
Yeah, you don't know. So I just think, please don't spend money where you don't need to.
That's
because you don't need to.
Go investigate it. Go find what is either on prescription free or cheap. Because
just going back to the sportswear a little bit. So I will say, obviously, when I have like days where my Stoma is more active, I will then bring in the baggy t-shirts. Leggings on the bottom, baggy t-shirts on the top, because I do get self-conscious when I'm going around the gym. Again, you look down, you can see it more than the person looking at you there.
I know.
So it's in your head. And I get to that point where I'm like very stubborn. I'm like, no, I am focusing on this workout. You are not taking over.
Yeah.
That is that. And I think one thing that people do forget as well is for those who've had Barbie and Ken butt surgery, I've got a scar up my bum because I had Barbie bum surgery. And it's finding leggings and things as well that are comfortable a lot these days, especially for women, are the bum scrunch leggings, which have like the seam up the back. I do actually find those quite comfortable, but I know for a lot of people, especially if you've got a bit of mucus, if your bum's taking a while to heal or whatever, you need leggings that you're going to be able to wear support wear underneath, like your knickers, and if you need to, wear a sanitary pad without feeling like people are going to be like, oh, she's wearing a sanitary pad. Like, I think that is a big thing that people don't talk about. The scars that people don't see, the ones on your bum, the ones inside, scar tissue, it's not just what you can see.
No, and really with that style of leggings, you can't wear a sanitary pad with them. Like, it's so uncomfortable.
It really is.
But then if you look on social media, you think, oh my God, I can't go to the gym if I don't wear them because everyone wears them.
Literally.
Absolutely not.
I don't, so you can go to the gym.
I'd imagine you'd rock them, but
Well, that's for another podcast. But.
That is. But talking of social media, I mean, you've been doing this for a while. It's changed so much, hasn't it?
Like you are one of the OGs.
And you've seen it change more than most. And I think there's probably a lot more pressure than there was, say, 5 years ago.
Yeah, without a doubt.
How have you seen it change?
So I think this is one of the things I always cover quite a lot when I talk about social media. For me, it was Facebook when I had my surgery. So Instagram and things wasn't even there. So I literally had a Facebook support group, which had a few thousand members. So, you were likely to get missed in the thread. I did make a few friends, but it was very much me going through the journey. And then at the time I had my uncle who was still alive and he had his bag. So I learnt so much off him. But it's just come on so much social media. It is a thing. So it was Facebook. And then I'd say it's probably in the last, 5 or 6 years since I started doing mine that Instagram and TikTok and things is very much where it's at. I personally don't do TikTok. I've tried it a few times, but I think you can go down a rabbit hole. And it's also kind of about what time you want to put aside and where you want to spend your energy and things. But I always say that I think social media is such a tool for good in so many ways. Like, I wouldn't know you guys if it wasn't for social media. Like
100%.
I would have never met anybody else with a bag outside of my uncle. And that thought alone makes me feel quite isolated, especially because he passed away. So I didn't have anybody then to talk to, but he kind of taught me that you've got to get your story out there. You've got to kind of like say your fears out loud. You've got to show people that actually you can do what you want with a stoma. Yes, there are things you've got to consider, but it's just part of the decision. It's not the decision maker, if you get what I'm saying. So social media has changed a lot. And I'm like you said earlier on, I will very much follow the things that fuel the energy I want to have and protect that little peace circle that I want to keep. Anything that, I see that I don't like, we're all human. We all post ththings that we might not agree with one another. Fair enough, that's fine. But if I see something consistently that I don't like, or I see an account that is against scars and is trying to encourage you to get rid of your scars, that's not what I'm about. So I will unfollow. And I think it's so important to, for people to know that you can unfollow people.
Yeah,
it's very much, you can sit there and think, oh, this person might be really offended if I unfollow them. 9 times out of 10, that person never realises, or they come to you 5 or 6 months down the line and they're like, why did you unfollow me? And I'm like, there's no beef to be had about it. It's just, your content, unfortunately, doesn't align with what I want to kind of surround myself with, but you do you, Yeah.
It's a really empowering message, actually. Even going back to the point that your uncle was saying, stuff like that is like, go and do those things.
Do it.
Like, kind of feel the fear and do it anyway, sort of vibes. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's, for me, and like you all both do this so well. You do so much with for mums out there and stuff like this. You've done it because you're one of the first people I started to follow. And I remember being like, she's got her together, no pun intended, but there's an educational message there. And like, if people are going to start doing that, they want to share their stories and be more educational. Like, what what tips would you give someone that's like, right, I'm feeling confident, like, where should I start?
I think as hard as it is sometimes, just stay true to yourself. Believe in the message that you want to put out there. It's very easy to look at somebody else and think, well, they're doing amazing, so I must be like them if I want to get somewhere.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, some people just want to share their story. It's not about getting somewhere. For me, it's not about how many followers I have. It's about, if I can help just one person, then what I went through was completely worth it. So yeah, just start sharing bits of your story or create an account. Don't even post anything.
Yeah.
Start
true.
following those people that you want to surround yourself with. Like obviously I follow you guys, and the content you put out there is very much the narrative and the energy that I need in my life. So yeah, even if you don't post for 5 or 6 months and you've got loads of stuff in the drafts that you just don't think you can, share.
Yeah, that's so important.
Ignore the algorithm, I think, is a key thing. Because I get so bad at it, like, I haven't posted, and then like
completely.
My stories will have like 100 views, and I'm like, it was thousands the other week or something like that. Like, I have to post more, and like, I think that's the key bit, is don't worry about the algorithm.
Yeah,
do you.
There is pressure.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure.
And I think if you want to help people, and the more you put out there, the more messages you get for help. And then you feel like if you don't keep doing it, you're not helping enough. But that's, you can only do what you can do.
Well, you set yourself on fire to keep others warm, don't you? Otherwise, you've got to look after number one.
It's a really nice phrase. I really like that phrase. Because you must get that a lot as well. Because for me, you're a very empowering voice in the sort of mum, Stoma, baby space.
Amazing.
So I'm not just saying this because I'm now part of this podcast, but you are. And like, surely you must get a lot of mums contacting you. Like, how do you cope with this? Like, your young children that have had these big surgeries, stuff like that. Like,
yeah, I think I always tell people, look, you're going to get a voice note. Because
you love a voice note. I love it.
But that's because I always do it.
Usually driving.
It's when I'm driving. That's because otherwise I've got a 1-year-old who's tearing my phone out my hand, and I don't want to be sat there on my phone with him. Yeah. And so I'm either in the bath.
Yes.
And I only send the ones of the people I really know in the bath, because otherwise that's just weird. And then
now I know when you send your voice notes.
And no, I'll just say, look, I'm going to send you a voice note. You can take it or leave it. And then they don't have to reply with a voice note, but it's just my way of. And also, I think sometimes when you message, I don't know, I'm afraid of how it's going to come across, and I overthink it. So I think if I just send a quick voice note, lol.
4
minutes, 4 minutes, and then there's 5 in a row, and then it's bye, see ya. Okay. Oh, sorry, I just forgot. I'm stuck in traffic. We're not moving.
Literally.
But yeah, no, it's. But also, I think there's that pressure that I used to be terrible for. If I didn't reply to that person on that day, I'm a terrible person.
Yes, tell me about it.
But it's not realistic. And what you put yourself on social media as is a very tiny percentage of our lives. And I think you need to remember that and give yourself some grace and say, you know what, I will reply, but it'll be when I can.
Literally, it's like your life in little squares. It's little boxes or a long rectangle. If it's on a story for 24 hours, it is a snippet of your life.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, thinking about social media, we've got a new part of this segment is we've asked the audience to start actually bringing some questions in to ask our lovely guests.
Bring it on.
We've kind of covered these already, but I just sort of want to go back to it as part of our conversation. Tightwear. You said you quite like tight body. Is bodycon, is that the right word?
Yeah. Not quite bodycon, but snug, shall we say. So there's still a bit of give.
What would you, if someone really wants to wear tight clothing, like maybe they had loads of confidence in feeling really positive in tight clothing, what would you recommend for someone who's trying to navigate that after surgery?
Yeah, I think, again, a lot of it is about experimenting, trying your style, knowing what you're about. For me, where the toilets are plays a massive thing.
Yes,
So it's like, right, I'm going to said evening am I going to be able to get to a toilet, or is it for work, is it an awards dinner where I need to be sat down? Am I going to be able to go to the toilet? Yeah. So for me, I always think toilet. Can I empty my bag if I need to? Because worst comes to worst, that's all you do. You go and empty your bag and it's flat again. I think, the Stoma community, I've been guilty of it. almost making out that having a full bag under your clothes is this bad thing that you're not going to be able to work around. Well, actually, everybody needs to go to the toilet, whether you've got a bag or not.
Yeah.
So worst comes to worst, you go and empty it.
Yeah.
Or you change it if you've 100%. Got a leak. No one's going to look at you for going to the toilet, are they? No. But yeah, wearing tight clothes, I just think try on lots of things. You've got to feel comfortable. And if in doubt, take layers. So like me, for example, before, if I've worn like a tight dress, I'll take a shawl. And then, if you're sat down at a dinner and you can't get up to the toilet, you can use your shawl or your handbag or whatever. Just strategically place it on your knee.
I'll do that where I've got sit down.
Do you do that with your handbag?
Yeah, I do, yes, several times. But also like a pillow. I'll hold a pillow like this or just lean on that.
Or your coat or your scarf or anything. Yeah.
Is anyone here guilty of like the end of the day, if your bag's full, you're on the sofa, you're like, I don't want to go and empty my bag now, so I'll just, because I keep mine folded all the time, I use the Velcro tab on the Moda V, and I have it folded. Yes, as it's beautifully displayed on the shelf. And if I need to empty, I just unfold it and give myself more time, because I cannot be bothered to empty it straight away at the end of a long day. And I give myself
sofa rotting. That is literally a thing, isn't it? Bed rotting, sofa rotting.
Oh God, don't call it.
Everyone's
that.
like, I've been bed rotting. It sounds great, doesn't it?
Nice,
sounds lovely.
Sofa cutching? No, because you might be on your own. So I don't know. You could cutch
sofa huddling.
Sofa.
Yeah, absolutely. But have either of you guys? I'm gonna admit this here.
Oh yeah.
If you want to give yourself more time before you go to the toilet and you really can't be bothered, do you ever just tactically burp your bag?
Yes.
I don't anymore. Yes, I used to. I don't anymore.
I'm like, you're not getting away with those farts, Ben. Like, I'm adding my mix in there. Come on.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yes.
Oh my God. They must. People do that, they just don't say.
Yeah. It is a big, I've seen lots of people talk about it online. I don't, just because mine's more of a, well, no, I don't. I just get up and, I'm very much like, I'll just get up and empty my bag.
Yeah. Can't relate. But I'm a lot older than you, Per, so maybe it's an age thing.
You're not.
I still bag burp.
Not.
It's fine.
But yeah, we've got one more question actually, haven't we?
You talked about high-waisted trousers, stuff like this. Obviously, layers. Different waistlines.
Yes.
People who have badges and they're worried about their bag bulging over their trousers. If you wear low riding,
low rise.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, if you're going to wear those sorts of waisted trousers, I'll get my teeth in there at some point. What's another top tip that you would give someone that?
You see, I can't really give a top tip because I don't wear low rise myself. Yeah. For me, it's
do you ever wear low rise?
I will wear I say men's normal size, but then I just put sport wear on.
You put your support wear. Well, maybe that's the answer then.
That's what I was going to say. If I did, I'd probably put support wear, even the level 2.
Yeah.
Because it's that step up, so it'll probably hold your bag to your skin more.
I think bag bulge, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
That's just a natural part of having a bag. So, I mean, yes, we have just discussed I'm going to sit there and burp my bag to give me more time. That will deflate the bag.
We're the only ones that do it now. We're going to
there's so many. Awkward. There's so many. Let us know in the comments if you do that. That's what I want to hear.
Yes.
I want to hear
Definitely.
Or see. I don't want to smell it. But
if you don't, you're in denial. Just saying.
I know.
Just be me and you.
Yeah.
No, I remember doing it once with an old bag provider that I used, and I did it wrong, and I then had a leak. I was like,
you're traumatized from it.
So I'm not going to do that anymore.
Wrong. Yeah. It can go wrong. There is an art to it, and you've even got to take the consistency of the output into the decision. How to burp your bag effectively with IBD Warrior Princess. You're welcome.
Right, so another segment that we're doing that's a little bit new is we've asked you to bring a photo that means quite a lot to you. So, talk about what this photo is, what it means to you, and I think there's 2 images of you on there. So,
there is. So it's like a little half and half. So the first image is me probably 3 or 4 years ago when I actually thought I was very body confident. And then the one on the right is me when I actually did a very empowering boudoir shoot that I got asked to do earlier this year. So it's when I just got back into my fitness journey. I'd been back into my fitness journey for a year, and looking at that now, I'm like, no, that's when I felt empowered, not the photo before. I
remember I think I remember you put it on and you said something like, I'm so far out of my comfort zone. So just talk us through it, because there might be some people that are like, oh my God, that is an incredible photo. How do I go about doing something like that?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just earning the person you are.
Yeah.
So it's having the confidence to say, you know, everybody is different, whether you've had stoma surgery, whatever you've got going on, whether you've had a baby, whatever's going on, to just earn your body and know that, you know, the photographer in that studio will see bodies of different shapes and sizes.
It's easy to forget that, isn't it?
And it's an empowerment shoot. That's the whole point. They are trained to big you up and make you feel comfortable. So I actually got approached to do that through a work friend. So she'd gone and done one. And then the lady was looking for people who have disabilities or scars or anything like that. And she found me online and she said, would you like to come and do it? So I actually went with my best friend. We both have our own like shoots separately. We had a few photos taken together, which was so empowering. So yeah, it was really, really good.
It does look like as well in those photos is that like both of those like side by side, you can see that that's the confidence of you growing.
Completely.
Because I guarantee the photo of you like in the pink, you wouldn't have ever thought of, right, I'm going to go do a boudoir shoot.
Oh no, like that's why I chose it. I didn't want it to be like this is a before and this is an after, because it's not. It's an ongoing journey. It's not here's me before and here I am so much better after. Absolutely not.
Imagine where you're going to be in like 10 years time. What are you going to be doing
It's
there?
very empowering and like I had to push myself so much to do that shoot. Like a lot of people look at me and they think she's so body confident, like, you know, like she probably just walked out there and she earned it. Don't get me wrong, I was shaking like a leaf. I was stood in the bit where you like get changed into like your underwear and stuff, and I looked in the mirror and I was like, has this been the wrong decision? Like I was almost worried what people were going to think because I did a shoot in my underwear. And I thought, actually, no, like the people who know me know I'm doing it for the right reasons. And I would seriously, like, any photo shoot opportunities, you know, it doesn't have to be that sort of thing that you get given, even as like a little present to yourself for working on your confidence. Go and have some really nice shots with, you know, like you're wearing, and if you want to, don't even have your bag out. Go and do it, because the photographers 9 times out of 10, they're just like your biggest hype brothers and sisters. They're just like, yeah, you work it, and it's you leave feeling on the high. It's amazing.
Well, the photos aren't for anyone else; they're for you.
Exactly,
and that's the point. It's for your benefit.
And I've actually got a box that they gifted me at home, like a lovely box with 20 photos in that I could choose to print, and I keep it in my bedside table. And whenever I'm like on a bit of a down day and I'm thinking, oh, I don't know if I can go and do that thing, or I don't know if I can get to the gym today, I get those photos out and I'm like, look what you did then.
That is a quality message. That is such a good
practice. If you can do that and literally be so vulnerable, you can do anything. Like, be realistic. There's days where you just can't. And I think you've got to be gentle. It's not, I'll go and do whatever the circumstances. You're human, aren't you? You're going to have to say no to some things. But if I'm ever in a little bit of a doubt, like things at work or whatever, I just look at those and I'm like, you did it, Queen. Like, you rock that. And it's okay to say that you rocked it, because that took literally so much guts.
We're going to have to wrap it up now, as much as we could carry on talking to you forever. But we've got one more question for you, and it would be, what advice would you give someone who is newly adjusting to their stoma? I mean, you've given so many tips. It's unreal, but just one last word for those newbies out there.
I think just listen to your body is the main. You know, your journey, as cliche as it sounds, is your journey. It's not anybody else's, you know, so don't look at me when I had my bag and think, she was out of bed day 2 after her surgery. I've got to do that. No, there's no rule book that everybody has to follow. Listen to your body and know that you aren't alone. You know, even people without stomas, talk to them. People who love you are going to encourage that. And I've always said to people, you know, the people who matter to you don't mind, and the people who mind don't matter.
100%.
Well, what can I say? I mean, what a way to finish.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. It's been amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming all this way, making the journey. And you are welcome back anytime.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
See you later, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care.